but it's a bit of an update in regards to Big Ten coaching personnel. And so we thank The Athletic for posting this. And so these are the coaching changes in regards to head coach coordinators on both sides of the ball this offseason. Stability breeds winning, winning breeds stability. They go hand in hand, chicken and the egg. Who can figure out what comes first? But stability to win in college football for the most part. And that's always been the case. So you don't want to be changing coaches every 2 or 3 years. However, especially these assistant coaches talk about nomadic lifestyles. They are all over the place. This is the new and the old in the Big Ten this year. At Illinois, they have continuity across the board with Brett Bielema as head coach, offensive coordinator Barry Lunney. Remember him as quarterback at Arkansas. And Aaron Henry for a second consecutive year as defensive coordinator, taking over for, of course, Ryan Walters, who was the DC for a number 1 ranked Illinois defense 2 seasons ago and went to Purdue. Curt Cignetti, of course, coming in from James Madison to Indiana to head up the Hoosiers, with Mike Shanahan as offensive coordinator, Bryant Haynes as defensive coordinator. So we've got one of the most successful names in college football, period, heading up the Indiana offense. Of course, Curt Cignetti said, what did he say at his introductory basketball game? Purdue sucks. Michigan sucks. Ohio State sucks. I don't know what that says about Indiana. Kirk Ferentz, of course, big announcement here. The head coach at Iowa. Tim Lester comes in from Western Michigan after a 1-year hiatus with the Green Bay Packers, I believe, at the NFL. Phil Parker, arguably the greatest defensive mind in college football. Maryland, continuity there. Mike Locksley, Josh Gaddis, offensive coordinator, of course, formerly of Michigan and Miami. Brian Williams is the defensive coordinator at Maryland. Of course, a whole new staff at Michigan for the most part. Sharon Moore, Kirk Campbell, and Wink Martindale coming in from the NFL. He has not coached in college football since the early 2000s. Kirk Campbell was on staff as quarterbacks coach, and Wink Martindale, of course, highly involved in that Baltimore Ravens influenced defensive staff with Mike McDonald and company. Michigan State, Jonathan Smith, Brian Lindgren as offensive coordinator, and Jonathan Smith was able to lure Joe Rossi from Minnesota, where he had been since 2017. Coordinators don't stick around typically for 7 seasons at a stop, but Joe Rossi was with PJ Fleck going back to 2017, but he leaves for Michigan State. There we see Minnesota with Fleck, Greg Harbaugh / Matt Simon as co-offensive coordinators. Corey Hetherm is the new DC with the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Matt Rule has been able to sustain his staff for a second consecutive year with Matt Rule, Marcus Satterfield, and Tony White. What a job David Braun did with Northwestern. I could argue that that was the best coaching job in the last few seasons. Zach Lujan is the offensive coordinator. Tim McGarrigle. That name is awfully familiar. Can't come up with his past, though. Tim McGarrigle. Okay, Ohio State, of course. Ryan Day has hired his former mentor, Chip Kelly, to run the offense, and Jim Knowles is back on defense for his 3rd season since coming in from Oklahoma State. Dan Lanning, Will Stein, Tosh Lupoy as defensive coordinator at Oregon. James Franklin has 2 new coordinators. Andy Kotelnicki is the offensive coordinator. Tom Allen, of course, former IU head coach, running the defense with Manny Diaz leaving for Duke. Purdue has continuity for a 2nd consecutive season with Ryan Walters. Graham Harrell, the offensive coordinator, coming in, of course, had been at USC, a couple other stops, and of course had a prolific quarterbacking run at Texas Tech. Kevin Kane is the DC at Purdue. Rutgers, Greg Schiano. Kirk Ciarrocca has been all over the Big Ten. And then you got Joe Harris-Smile as defensive coordinator at Rutgers. I don't recall what happened to their defensive coordinator at Rutgers. They've been really good on that side of the ball. Let's see here. Rutgers defensive coordinator. So Harris-Smile. His last job. Okay, so he was co-defensive coordinator with Rossi at Minnesota in 2020 and 21. And it's showing that that he's okay, that's right. So he's back for his second consecutive year as Rutgers DC. All right, UCLA with 3 new head coach coordinator positions. Deshaun Foster, of course, Eric Bieniemy, longtime Colorado Buff, NFL stint with the Kansas City Chiefs, most notably, and Akaika Malo. And we will need to learn about him. Don't know anything about him at UCLA. USC with a new defensive coordinator in D'Anton Lynn. They took him from UCLA. Lincoln Riley, Josh Henson back in those positions. And at Washington is one of the biggest turnovers in college football history. New head coach, 2 new coordinators, new coaching staff. Okay, that always goes along with the new head coach. However, they only have 2 starters back. Change at quarterback, 2 starters on both sides of the ball, and a new conference. Jedd Fisch with Brendan Carroll as OC at Washington. Steve Belichick, familiar name at defensive coordinator with the Huskies in Wisconsin with Luke Fickell. Where do I know that name? There was a combination of Will Ferrell and Luke Fickell there, I guess, but I think there is a Luke Farrell somewhere in my brain. Anyway, Phil Longo, offensive coordinator, and Mike Tressel, of course, after he's bounced around the MAC in the Big Ten, son of Jim Tressel. Just thought I'd catch you up on all of that since I saw that in The Athletic.